Sometimes it is better to leave your wall empty. Some paintings are so haunted they can bring danger to your home. The paintings on this list have been known to terrify those who simply look at them or cause everything you own to be destroyed in a fire. Take this as your warning and don't purchase any paintings in this list. So let's jump into our top 5 haunted paintings you should never purchase list. Coming in at number 5 we have The Dead Mother. The Dead Mother by Edvard Munch was painted in 1900. Edvard was known for his dark inspiration within his paintings. Having lived a tragic life, he often took from his experiences when creating his art. Munch had been driven nearly insane by his upbringing in the house of an angry religious fanatic of a father after the tragic death of his mother and sister by tuberculosis when he was only 5 years old. The Dead Mother seems to reflect some of that angst, despair, and insanity, with these elements congealing to form what can only be described as a truly disturbing painting to look at. It depicts a young girl with her back turned to a bed on which her dead mother lies as she holds her hands to her ears and displays a wide-eyed expression of disbelief. Already creepy enough, but it gets even creepier. People who have owned the painting claim that the girl's eyes incessantly followed them, that the sheets on the mother's bed in the painting would rustle or move, or even that the girl's apparition would occasionally leave the painting altogether. Some people have felt a sinking feeling after just looking at the painting or screaming uncontrollably. After being moved from owner to owner due to hauntings, it is now held safely at the Galerie de Art de Bremen in Germany. Being kept at a safe distance might keep the hauntings to a minimum, or maybe it can now haunt hundreds of people a day. Would you be brave enough to look in the little girl's eyes? You might catch her leaving the frame, or maybe something worse. I think it would be best to stay clear just to be safe. Coming in at number 4 we have The Crying Boy. Before we get into the second one, you might want to check you don't already have one of these paintings in your home. The Spanish artist named Giovanni Bragolini created over 60 of the original Crying Boy paintings. He sold those paintings to tourists as a reminder of the orphans of World War II. Oddly enough, people in England, especially young couples, grew fond of these paintings. They started to create replicas of the paintings at mass to be sold all over England. One September morning in 1985, British residents opened their copies of The Sun, a popular newspaper, to find an astonishing article. "Blazing Curse of the Crying Boy," read the headline. The article read that the couple's home burned to the ground and they lost everything. Only one item did not burn, and that was the Crying Boy painting. The fireman related to the case also stated that this was not the first time this has happened. There had already been a number of fires, but the only thing remaining was the Crying Boy. The response to the article was overwhelming. Within a day, hundreds of readers had reached out to the newspaper claiming to be jinxed by the painting. After the story was published, people were seized with hysteria. The legend grew bigger as imaginations ran wild. Some people claimed that the painting had caused the death of family members. Others reported that when they tried to burn the prints, the painting would not catch on fire. Even restaurants with Crying Boy prints were burned to the ground. Firefighter Alan Wilkinson admitted that he had noted more than 50 Crying Boy fires since 1973. There have been stories told about who the Crying Boy is. The most popular is that the boy in the painting was an orphan living in Madrid. Despite a priest's warning that fires broke out wherever the boy went, the artist decided to adopt the child. Sometime later, the artist's studio burned down. The little boy ran away, never to be seen again. As these paintings were created in mass, there are still a number of them around. You might see them in older built houses, restaurants, or even hotels. But if you ever see one, please do not take it home, as the curse may consume everything you own. Coming in at number 3 we have Untitled Nightmarish Painting. Zdzisław Bekinski was a Polish painter who never titled any of his works. All of his work was considered to be dark. His paintings often depict anxiety, such as torn doll faces or faces erased or obscured by bandages wrapped around the portrait. His main focus was on abstract painting, although it seems his works in the 1960s were inspired by surrealism. Many of his paintings might look haunted and terrifying, but only one truly is. People call this painting Untitled Nightmarish Painting. He painted this while in a state of pure anguish after Bekinski's wife Sofia died in 1998. He created this just after she died, and it was left in his studio. A year later, on Christmas Eve 1999, his son Thomas took his own life through medicine overdose. It is said that Thomas was driven mad by the painting and could not take it anymore. The painting whispered to him to carry out horrific acts, and he finally gave in. A few years later, in February 2005, Bekinski was brutally attacked in his own home by a young man demanding that he give him money. He did not survive the attack. It is thought that from the moment he finished this painting, he and his family were cursed. This curse now follows anyone who lays their eyes on it. As all of his paintings have no name, there is no way to know where this painting currently resides. If you do get a chance to own or gaze upon the painting, do so with caution. Coming in at number 2, we have The Anguished Man by Unknown. The Anguished Man, an oil painting, is known to be one of the most haunted objects in the world. According to legends, The Anguished Man was created by an unknown artist who mixed the paint with his own blood. Shortly after his work was completed, the artist took his own life. It is currently owned by Sean Robinson from Cumbria, England. Robinson inherited The Anguished Man from his grandmother, who warned him that the painting was cursed. Although he was fascinated with the painting, Robinson had to keep it in the basement of his house because his wife did not like it. A few years later, his house was flooded and he was forced to move the painting into one of the bedrooms to avoid damage. Since then, Robinson and his family began experiencing strange activities around the house, such as seeing a shadowy figure of a man and hearing sounds of whispering and crying. Further incidents occurred weeks later, haunting each member of the family. At nights, Robinson would wake up to see a dark, faceless figure standing in his bedroom, and his wife discovered a stranger lying on the bed next to her, leaving her traumatized. The incident that really put the family in danger was when the couple's son Keenan felt a presence push him down the stairs. In 2011, Robinson started documenting the hauntings on his YouTube channel. One video that gained over 1 million views showed a recording of the painting filmed over 8 hours, which shows footage of the door closing on its own while the painting is in the room. In addition to that, a loud bang and sounds of scraping can be heard in the video. Since then, Robinson uploaded more videos, posting updates about the painting and captured further paranormal activity in the house, such as its distorted sounds and a mysterious ghostly figure running past the camera. Many question why he was keeping the painting, as it was posing as a clear threat to him and his family. People have long accused Robinson of faking the footage to gain attention and views. Robinson appeared in a TV documentary to tell his story and briefly mentioned about the hoax rumors, stating, I quote, "A lot of people were skeptical and I can understand that because I was a skeptic myself and still am, but the footage is there for you to see. It wasn't faked. There could be a perfectly reasonable explanation, but I haven't found one yet." To this day, Robinson refuses to destroy the painting and keeps it in his basement to avoid any more harm to his family. He is currently planning on bringing his story to the big screen, as La Brea Pictures have acquired the rights to make a film about the Anguished Man. If he ever decided to part with the painting and sell it, this is one painting you should not consider buying. The clear hauntings are a warning to stay far away from the paintings at all time. Who knows who it might hurt next. And finally, coming in at number 1, we have The Hands Resist Him by Bill Stoneham. This painting by Bill Stoneham was finished in 1974. The inspiration for the painting came from a photo taken of Bill when he was just 5 years old. The photograph wasn't worth 1,000 words, it was worth 1,000,000 nightmares. Bill grew up poor. His family did quite a bit of traveling for his father's job. The family was staying at his grandmother's apartment in Chicago to save money. The place was so small, Stoneham was forced to sleep on a mat in a closet filled with dresses, coats, and hats. When he speaks about this time in his life, he says it was like not being in a room at all, it was like being in an article of clothing. Stoneham regularly played outside with one of the girls from the neighborhood. During one of these occasions, his parents had both kids pose in front of a glass door for a photograph. They couldn't have known that 2 decades later, Stoneham would transform the Monday childhood photo into a terrifying painting that has become the stuff of internet legend. Looking at the original picture, it is interesting to see how he interpreted the scene. The little girl does slightly resemble that of a doll, and the young Bill does not look happy in the moment. He explained that the hands are the other lives, the glass door, that thin veil between waking and dreaming. The girl/doll is the imagined companion or guide through this realm. He has since expanded on his collection, telling the tale of the boy and the doll throughout their story. The haunted history of the original painting dates back to 1974 when it was purchased from an art gallery. At first, nothing seemed to be wrong with the painting, but over the next few years, everyone involved with the painting since its sale had passed away. This included the actor who purchased it, the owner of the gallery who sold it, along with the art critic who had written about it. It would be another 26 years before Stoneham heard of his paintings again. Unbeknownst to him, it had been abandoned behind a California brewery turned art space. In 2000, the painting resurfaced in a listing on eBay. The family selling it wrote a horror story of a product description that reads, "At the time we wondered a little why a seemingly perfectly fine painting would be discarded like that. Today we don't. One morning our 4-year-old daughter claimed that the children in the picture were fighting and coming into the room during the night. The father of this young girl set up a motion-sensitive camera in her room to show his daughter there was nothing to be afraid of. Instead, he saw the boy crawl from the painting. painting. The last two pictures purport to show the doll coming to life and using a weapon held in her hand to force the boy to leave the painting. These details proved to be a huge draw for buyers. The eBay listing was viewed more than 30,000 times. Some of these viewers even complained to the seller about experiencing supernatural occurrences after merely visiting the listing. By the time the painting was sold to gallery owner Kim Smith for $1,025, its legend had spread across the internet. A month after the eBay auction ended, Smith spoke with a paranormal website about life after purchasing what had become known as the haunted eBay painting. Today, the painting rests in a storage pocket in Smith's gallery in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Smith recently received a low six-figure offer for the painting but turned it down, so if you did want to purchase the painting, you would have to offer a large amount to even be in with a chance. Why anyone would want to offer to buy it is beyond me. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with that list? Do you own a haunted painting? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos. Top 5 scary Mexican fairy tales. Haunter Winchester said, "All hail our Dark Queen Lucy, you should do scary legends of the United States, take each state separately." We have done that in the past, I think, but I don't think we covered them all. I actually did make a list recently of states I want to cover, so maybe. Juan Raquina Puente said, "Being Mexican, it's cool seeing Lucy pronounce Spanish." Is it cool? Because I butchered it, I think. I'm pretty sure I butchered it. But as long as you think it's cool, that's fine. Jenkins said, "For some odd reason, I love this host. Why is it odd? Shouldn't I be the favorite? Aren't I the obvious favorite? Maybe not. I think I'm an acquired taste." No, I'm great. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. And until next time, I'll see you later. I'm gonna haunt ghosts. Turn the tables right on them, you know? They might like it. They're like, oh, we've been waiting a lifetime for this. Sorry, my hair's annoying. I don't like when my hair touches me.
I believe that is always a thing.
But sometimes it really gets close to me. I like when it kind of keeps its distance, but when it starts to like creep in, I'm like, what are you doing? You know?
You need a hairband or something. Or a hairnet.
I should wear a hairnet every day. I'm gonna start wearing hats.